Now we turn our attention to the other honorees we salute tonight, whose achievements reflect a range of professional accomplishments and activities that show dedication to hard work and excellence and service to our community. They inspire us and motivate us to do more in our own lives. Please welcome to the stage my good friend, Reverend Raphael Warnock, Eduardo Martinez, C. David Moody, Dr. Mark Becker, and my favorite and my only mayor, Kasim Reed. Gentlemen, please take your seats on the stage as we all watch this video tribute and learn a few things you may not have known already about the highly noted men of empowerment and distinction we value and salute tonight. Please check out the video.
Urban League of Greater Atlanta Men of Empowerment and Distinction.
Today, we acknowledge these men of empowerment and distinction, highlighting the success of their work in the community. Embracing the spirit of our community, the Reverend Raphael Warnock has served since 2005 as senior pastor of the historic Ebenezer Baptist Church, spiritual home of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Reverend Warnock is highly regarded internationally as an influential voice on the complex moral issues of our time.
A few weeks ago, we had an expungement project here at Ebenezer Church, right here in this sanctuary one Saturday. Literally dozens of people lined up and sat here in the sanctuary, and everybody in the sanctuary had an arrest record. We pulled together Fulton County, the Sheriff's Department, the District Attorney, Solicitor General, and they all agreed to streamline a process that usually takes about 120 days or more to one day. They walked in with a record and they walked out without a record. We were surprised and, well, really disappointed to see that our nation had found a way for Iraqi citizens who now lived in Michigan to vote in Iraq. But we would not find a way so that citizens of New Orleans who are living in states all across the country could somehow vote by absentee. So we've been very involved in voting rights. We've also been very involved with addressing the problems and inequities in our criminal justice system, the issues of poverty. In 2012, we built the Martin Luther King Senior Community Resources Complex, which warehouses several nonprofit organizations, and every day of the week, we are here at Ebenezer helping people, engaging people as they improve their own lives by providing them financial literacy, workforce development and training, and working with young people every single day of the week.
Eduardo Martinez joined UPS in 1976 and rose through ranks to lead the UPS Foundation with a mission to ensure diversity and inclusion. Being true to its mission, the UPS Foundation has supported the Urban League for several decades.
As president of the UPS Foundation, I have the honor of working with my colleagues at UPS in communities around the world. UPSers volunteer in their communities every day. Last year alone, they volunteered 2.3 million hours of service in their community across a wide range of needs. The Urban League specifically addresses the local needs in their community. And throughout our history, throughout our partnership, we consider our partnership with the Urban League as the model partnership, from leadership engagement to the front line. You know, we continue to have challenges in our communities, here in Atlanta, here in our country, and around the world. But together, working together, we know that we can forge a better tomorrow. And I encourage all of us here tonight and all of us around the country to continue supporting leaders like Nancy Johnson, leaders like Mark Morial, and organizations like the Urban League, because they will help us move our society and indeed our communities forward.
As we continue to construct and build not only legacy, but infrastructure and landmarks that inspire the local community and the world for more than 20 years, our very own C. David Moody has played a distinct role in developing this region, despite his personal success against the odds.
What have I done personally to empower our community? I've really tried hard to set an example that we can achieve anything, regardless of what we've been through in life. I try and set an example of excellence, a good attitude, a smile, and just help others, and we give back a lot. But the real thing that I'm working on now is helping childhood sexual abuse survivors. Myself, I'm one. I didn't speak up publicly until my late 50s. I've written a book, I have a blog. My real push is to help those that suffer from childhood sexual abuse have a safe place to go get resources, get counseling, and the most important thing is to know they're not alone and know they can still achieve some incredible things. Help deal with mental health, such as panic attacks, post-traumatic stress syndrome, where a lot of people are afraid to speak up, and help people know it's okay to get counseling to help you get through a trauma. And just continue to give back and just be a good example for those that suffer in silence and give a hope to those that are hopeless.
Education is the cornerstone of empowerment, and with the help of Dr. Mark P. Becker, as president of Georgia State University since 2009, we have all witnessed his passion for our students represented in the recent growth and expansion of the university.
One of the ways that this has manifested itself is we've literally graduated thousands and thousands more students than we would have been graduating just 5 years ago if we hadn't made the innovative changes that we've made to change the difference in the way students are supported so that all students succeed. We want to get to the day where every single student that gets admitted to Georgia State University graduates with his or her degree. That is the goal, that's where we want to be, and that's what we work on each and every day. We're so proud and honored to have that privilege. What motivates me to do what I do here as the president of Georgia State University is my own upbringing. I was raised by two parents, neither of whom had had the opportunity to go to college. They preached, if you will, to my brothers and I the importance of an education. This is the way I give back. I really dedicated my life to higher education, seeing that other students have the same opportunities I had.
Political leadership is one of the most important ingredients of a successful community, and the Honorable Mayor Kasim Reed is that leader. We honor his accomplishments, experience, and insight for the future of our great city.
My future plans are really to do more. We're going to have a referendum for the largest expansion of MARTA in the city of Atlanta's history, a $2.6 billion expansion of MARTA. We have a $6 billion capital program at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport. We've negotiated a 20-year lease that I'm proud to say will keep the headquarters for Delta Airlines right here at home, and will keep Hartsfield-Jackson Airport as the busiest passenger airport in the world for 18 years in a row. Just this week, we inked an agreement with the Atlanta Hawks where we will retrofit Phillips Arena. You're going to see underground transformed with about $300 to $350 million in investment. And many folks in the audience know that we've done a deal with Georgia State University in Carter to attract about $350 million to the old Turner Field complex. So that's 70 acres that's going to absolutely come alive in a way that it hasn't before. And so that seems to me to be plenty to work on in addition to running the city every day. And my goal is to make sure that the city of Atlanta is a place that guarantees all of our residents an equal opportunity so they are free to determine what their outcome is. My hope is that the city of Atlanta continues to be a place where you can bring and build your dreams.
The Urban League of Greater Atlanta salutes Mayor Kasim Reed and the City of Atlanta for bringing employment and economic opportunity to our community. And we'd like to give special acknowledgement to the Mayor and the City Council for their support of the Urban League's youth empowerment programs.
The Urban League of Greater Atlanta would like to take this opportunity to honor these men of empowerment and distinction.
It is my distinct honor and pleasure to be standing here as a child that grew up in the Baptist church, that has the opportunity to be here to present an award to a distinguished Baptist minister. It's my pleasure to recognize the Reverend Raphael Warnock, It's hard to say anything about Reverend Warnock that you don't already know. But one of his impacts that the Urban League is heavily engaged in and admires most in the recent leading role in the region's effort to support returning citizens. He is a religious leader with global impact and a champion for civil rights and eradicating poverty. For these and many more reasons, Reverend Dr. Raphael Warnock is recognized in our community as a leader. He's not only a religious leader, but he's a civil rights leader. He cares about the youth in our community, and he spends every waking moment as a Baptist minister and a man of the cloth caring about his community and caring about how he can make a difference in the lives of the people that he interacts with. It is my distinct pleasure as a member of the board of the Urban League of Atlanta and as Senior Vice President of Fidelity Bank that I welcome the Reverend Dr. Warnock to accept this award. Dr. Warnock.
Well, let the church say amen. I thought I'd try that since some of you might not make it in the morning. Hello, everybody. Thank you so very much to the Urban League of Greater Atlanta and to my sister, the incomparable, inimitable, indefatigable Nancy Flake Johnson. Let's hear it for Dr. Johnson. Come on, you can do better than that. She's doing a great job. I'm a Baptist preacher. Y'all have to talk back, call and response. I am indeed deeply honored, beyond expression, by this honor and this acknowledgement. I do the work that I do because I feel called to it. And I gather a deep sense of fulfillment from this work. I'm grateful to be here with my brilliant and beautiful wife, Ule. Stand up, honey. I'm so glad she's here with me. The only thing nicer than receiving this award is sitting next to her and the likes of the iconic, legendary C.T. Vivian, who's my other seatmate tonight. Stand up, Dr. Vivian. Come on, I'm just walking. People ask me all the time, what is it like to be the pastor of Ebenezer Baptist Church, the home church of Martin Luther King Jr., to walk in his shoes. But as I think about Dr. King and I think of C.T. Vivian and others who walked with him, I'm very clear that it is not my job to try to walk in anybody's shoes. I tried to do that as a young toddler. You've seen children do that. You look cute, but you don't get very far walking in daddy's shoes. My job is not to walk in anyone's shoes, but to stand on the shoulders of Dr. King and C.T. Vivian, Andy Young, John Lewis, the legendary Joseph Lowry, so many others, Ella Baker, Fannie Lou Hamer, those who've done the work and in whose debt we will forever find ourselves. I'm deeply grateful tonight because people see the end of your story. They don't know the chapters that lead to the story that they see unfold before their very eyes. I'm clear every morning before I make my way to the Ebenezer Church that while I stand in King's pulpit, I was born in Caton Homes housing projects on the west side of Savannah, Georgia. I've been blessed to get many accolades, to receive an excellent education, both at Morehouse College and at Union Theological Seminary, advanced degrees. But my father was a Pentecostal preacher, a small church not well known. He was a preacher and a businessman, Brother Moody. He was a preacher and a small businessman. More specifically, my father was a preacher and a junk man. He preached on Sunday morning, but his salary from the church never could have paid our bills. Monday through Friday, he picked up old cars that other people had discarded and recycled them, and that's how he took care of our family. But on Sunday morning, he took off his dirty clothes, put on his work clothes. And the man who spent all week picking up metal and cars and stuff that other folk had thrown away stood up before working class and poor men and women and told them that there is a God who in a real sense is a junk man, that he goes around picking up people that other people have thrown away, have discarded because they do not see the treasure in their trash. And so if our work has been effective at all, it is perhaps because I have a junk man's hermeneutic. I see the value in all of God's creation, and how inspiring has it been tonight to see these young men who are labeled and stereotyped, press beyond their pain and transform their pain into power. That represents what the Urban League is about. It represents the best of our civil rights tradition, our black church tradition, and in a real sense, our civil rights organizations and our church have always worked together. There is no National Urban League, there is no NAACP without the black church. Howard Thurman said, by some amazing but vastly creative spirituality, the slave undertook the redemption of a religion that the master had profaned in his midst. In other words, the NAACP and the National Urban League really simply represents the liberationist tradition of the black church. And the black church is the National Urban League on its knees on a Sunday morning. Our piety and our protests, our religion and our resistance go hand in hand. So thank you so much, Urban League, for this honor. It inspires me to keep on keeping on. And when I hear the stories of these young men, I remember just how far I've come by faith. I arrived on the campus of Morehouse College in the spring of 1987. I did not have the money for tuition that semester. But I went to Morehouse College on a full faith scholarship. And commitment and belief in myself that was instilled in me by parents who gave me a sense of self-confidence that is unshakable. They didn't have much money, but they had humor and they had deep faith. They used to talk to me in King James English, "Thou shalt wash the dishes, lest I smite thee with my rod and my staff." And when I arrived on the campus of Morehouse College, looking for my dad to give me some money to make it through that first semester, to help me with my books, he didn't have any money. And he spoke to me in King James English, true story. He looked at me and he said, "Son, silver and gold hath I none." I mean, who talks like that? "But such as I have, give I unto thee. The grace of the Lord Jesus Christ go with you." He and my mother gave me a great big hug, and they drove off into the horizon. And all around me, there were brothers who were already driving fancy cars, dressed to the nines. They hadn't been to the first class, but they said that the grace of God will go with you. If you believe in yourself and believe in God, you can make it. 4 years later, some of those guys driving those fancy cars were driving by the commencement stage, but I was standing on the commencement stage getting my degree. A few years later, I arrived, graduate degrees in hand, pastor of the Ebenezer Baptist Church. And so our responsibility is to pass it on, to reach back, to lift, even as we climb. Finally, you know, you gave a Baptist preacher the mic, and I'm getting ready for tomorrow morning. There was this teacher who gave this young brother a puzzle because this kindergartner was tearing up class. He was he had a lot of passion. She said, I'll put him over here, he'll be quiet for a little while. Put this puzzle of the whole world together. In no time flat, he had put it together. Teacher asked, how'd you do this? He said, well, on the other side of the picture of the world was the picture of a man's face. And I discovered that if I could just put the man together, I'd put the world together. Urban League, keep putting individuals together, our boys and our girls, and continue to make the national and global critiques of the structures in which these young people find themselves so that we can put the people together and put the world together. We need you now more than ever. God bless you. Thank you.
The doors of the church are now open. When I thought about tonight's dinner, this is what I thought about you all and why I'm so excited. There was a woman who I met at a train station. And so I was campaigning for somebody else, and she walked up to me and she was visibly upset. And she said, my daughter has diabetes, and the clinic where I used to take my daughter has been closed. And so now I have to go across the town to get to a hospital to provide the service I need for my daughter. And she said, I've had trouble getting employment. And she said, because the clinic that we used to be able to walk to is closed, it now costs me about $15 to $16 to get to the doctor's office. You know, we all are very blessed individuals, so I'm listening and I'm trying to have a real conversation with her. And I said, but ma'am, the health care that your daughter is now receiving at that hospital, Pastor, is far greater than the health care she would have received at the clinic, and you're getting a substantial discount. So the trip ought to be worth it. Let me tell you why the Urban League is so important. She looked me in my face and said, that sounds real good, Mayor, but what happens when you don't have the discount? What happens when you don't have the $15? Who is the folks? Who helps then? What the Urban League does is they get down where folks are, and they help you when you don't have the discount. So the brother who talked about the fact that he's 10 months out, did you look in his eyes and see his face and see the dignity that he had standing up here tonight? That's why the Urban League is so important. They want to help people that don't even have a discount. And I'm here to tell you, the city of Atlanta, while I'm here and even after I'm here, is going to be right by your side. Because what we are compelled to do when we are doing our best work is to grab people where they are and to accept them as they are and to improve them, to provide the blessings that we all experience every single day. Folks don't want special treatment or special privileges. Folks just want an equal shot. Nobody's in here asking for a guarantee of an equal outcome. And so here's what we're going to do at the city of Atlanta. What we're going to do in Atlanta is we're going to do more than we have ever done. If you look at tonight, the city of Atlanta runs through these stories. David Moody's contract at Underground Atlanta. The center that Dr. Warnock is building right on the campus of Ebenezer. What he didn't even talk about tonight was the Hope Center for Financial Literacy. Eduardo didn't talk about tonight the $400 million complex the UPS is building at the end of ML King with 1,250 jobs, where people will have a fair shot and a fair shake. What President Becker didn't talk about tonight was the fact that Georgia State is reclaiming a part of Atlanta that was made promises for decades and decades and decades, and because of him, they're going to get a fair shot and a fair shake. Y'all, Urban League's doing great work tonight. Get your checkbooks out. Write a bigger check. Let's do more, because more is needed. So in Atlanta, we're going to ban the box. In Atlanta, every employee already makes $10.10 an hour. I'm raising it to $13.15 an hour. In Atlanta, every woman who works in the city of Atlanta makes as much as a man makes. Because if you want to help society, you need to make sure that women get paid equal pay for equal work, because that's how you improve the lives of boys, children, and little girls. You want to improve the economy, give women $1 on a dollar instead of 77 cents on the dollar. On Tuesday, we passed the biggest expansion of MARTA in 40 years. 40 years. That might seem like not a big deal to us, but to somebody that's trying to get from Clayton County to Buckhead, is not going to have to take 4 or 5 buses, but also going to be able to take 1 bus to the transit station, on the train to their job. It means everything, you all. So you all have given me what I call a Barnabas moment tonight. Sometime you come someplace and it's just a stop on your schedule, and you get there, and the most amazing things happen to your heart and to your mind. So I'm grateful for what you have given me tonight. And what I want you all to remember as you go forth, and after we listen to After 7, and I can't wait till they sing Ready or Not. I want everybody in this room to think about what the 35th President of the United States of America once said. When you see these stories, when you see the stories of these young men, we all need to look in the mirror and remember that our president once said, things don't happen, things are made to happen. Let's make them happen. God bless you.